Yesterday's Champions League game was nothing but games of draws and 2-0 victories with two red cards. What are we doing in the Champions League? I really don't understand because it was just that, and I feel that there can be much more, but and kudos to the teams who were able to draw because they are still in the hunt, either in the second spot position or in the Europa League position. But other than that, a very interesting day, very surprising results. Hello and welcome back to the Ballin Sisters, and we are back again. And today we are talking about our UEFA Champions League final. Sorry, not finals, but soon we'll be there as well. The game week 4 Wednesday matches which have happened. So let's get straight into it. The first game which I want to talk, which was a shocker. I didn't expect this to happen because last time around Juventus were able to beat Maccabi Haifa, but then guess what? Maccabi Haifa came back, and they came back with a bang. It was a 2-0 victory for Maccabi Haifa, and they blew out Juventus all along. They just blew them out. And it has been I think so it has now put Mr. Allegri in a very very tough situation, even though there has been backing from the Juventus board about Massimo Allegri that he will still and will be continued to back as a Juventus manager. But I don't see, I think so the end of the road is very very near for all of them. The second game, and it was a surprise that this thing happened, is that of Copenhagen versus Manchester City. I expected Manchester City to just walk out there. And again, like I said, once somebody is more or less three quarters qualified, they are not so interested in playing out a big game, and that's what Manchester City did. They played a B or a C team of theirs, and the best thing was Sergio Gomez was red carded in the 30th minute. So the majority of the game Manchester City played was with a red card and 10 men, and that 10 men team did a fabulous job of holding back Copenhagen, and credits to Copenhagen, but unfortunately or fortunately, Copenhagen was not able to breach the Manchester defense. So right now, I feel that Manchester City, as is, has gone through with it, and gone through in the group as well. So that is something which is very 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 nice for them, and they will be able to consolidate their position further as well. But for Copenhagen, I think so the end of the line is very very near. They are more or less out of the reckoning right now in this group. Moving from Copenhagen versus Manchester City to the big boys, PSG versus Benfica, the surprise package this time around, fighting for the top honors. Again, this game has been a surprise of a drab draw between PSG and Benfica. PSG did take the lead, but Benfica retaliated and took a goal, and put them back on the back foot. And PSG was not able to again breach the defense of Benfica. They were only able to hold them for a draw, even though there were waves of chances for PSG. But I think so they nullified the attack for Neymar, Mbappe, as well as Messi, and that is something which was very very interesting that these guys have not been able to do. And Benfica again is a surprise package, just like Club Brugge. I didn't expect them to go through. I always expected them to give a tough fight in the group, but then fall down in the pecking order and go into the Europa League. But this time around, they've taken the bull by the horns, and they are performing like never before. I have never seen Benfica perform the way they are right now. So kudos to them, and it is good to see that a team like Benfica and Club Brugge have been performing to the best of the levels, and they are getting and giving the best of the European teams a run for their money. It is not going to be easy for anybody who's going to be facing them in the round of 16. They are more or less through, both of them, PSG as well as Benfica. Now moving from PSG Benfica, let's go to Zagreb versus Salzburg, where this group is now completely open, because earlier it was Zagreb who was on top, then Salzburg went on top, and then now Chelsea is also on top. So this group is out there in the open, and I think so yesterday it was again the same procedure, but last time around Salzburg was able to beat Zagreb, but that didn't happen. Yesterday was a draw between Salzburg and Zagreb, and kudos to Zagreb that they were able to nullify Zagreb's home ground advantage, and they were just able to walk away with a 1 point. Even though Zagreb is a tough team to play in Zagreb in Croatia, the crowds is very nasty, and obviously they have the 12th man approach over there. So there is something which we have to look at that and give the credit where it's due for Salzburg, that they played a very brilliant game, and going to Zagreb and playing is again a big thing for them, and they were able to draw this game and take a single point, so that leaves the group completely open between Zagreb as well as Salzburg. So let's see what happens going forward when these two teams are further playing against Chelsea, and Salzburg will be playing Milan as well. So we don't know what might come out, who might be on top, but that is something we have to look at. The next team which I really want to talk about are the teams in the same group, Milan versus Chelsea. I feel that the referee did spoil the game. In the 17th minute, when you're giving out a very soft penalty, even though yes, that was a penalty, but not a red card, and that I think so changed the complete dynamics of the game. When Chelsea scored the penalty from with the help of Jorginho, Mount gave that assist, and then the second goal as well. Mount gave an assist to Aubameyang, and what a brilliant goal it was from open play for Chelsea. And now it is really seeming Chelsea is in their element. Now they're slowly coming into the element. They're sinking in their thoughts with Graham Potter, and the team is now becoming in sync. So that is something which has to be looked at, and these guys are doing a very brilliant job. Even Graham Potter, from whom I didn't have high expectations, even though from the team where he had come from, Brighton, they started off the league, they had taken the league by the storm, but now coming into Chelsea and improving them. I feel he's improving them. There are a lot of system changes, but for Milan, the road is still there and still open, but it is coming to a very close dead end for them if they don't improve in the remaining two games, because now it is in their hands. Their own destiny is in their own hands, so they have to improve themselves, because if they don't do it, it is going to be nobody else's fault. So I think so. Milan is on their wits' end, and they have to improve. Even though their fate lies in their own hands, they are the managers of their own destiny in the UEFA Champions League. If they don't do it, I feel them going down into the ditch, and that is going to be a very sad thing to see with AC Milan this time around. So let's see what happens with AC Milan. Let's get into the next game for Borussia Dortmund and Sevilla. Borussia Dortmund and Sevilla played out a draw, and I think so. Most of the games yesterday were all draws. It was either a draw or a 2-0 victory and 2 red cards. So that is something which was very interesting for me to have a look at. That both these teams have. A majority of the teams, I think so, out of these games, 5-6 of them were draws. Coming on to Dortmund versus Sevilla, both the teams put their heart out. Dortmund, especially because the kind of performance they gave last week, I was expecting them to win in Dortmund's home, but then unfortunately Sevilla came with a mental block that they are going to be defending and play on the counter, and with the one situation where they got that open opportunity, they grabbed it with both hands, and Dortmund was not able to contain Sevilla. Throughout the game also there were waves of attack from Dortmund, but unfortunately or fortunately enough for Sevilla, that they were unfortunately for Dortmund and fortunately for Sevilla, they were not able to have score another goal, and obviously fortunately Sevilla didn't concede another goal, because that is something which is going to be very damaging for Sevilla, even though right now they are still in the hunt of it. But then right now Dortmund is more or less through to the group stages, so they might be taking slightly easy and not going for the kill. Moving from Dortmund versus Sevilla, let's talk Shakhtar versus Real Madrid. Another surprise of yesterday was that Real Madrid took it very easy. Shakhtar Donetsk scored. Yes, they scored, and Real Madrid scored. So that was a but obvious thing. But it was just a 1-1 draw. I expected Real Madrid, much more from Real Madrid, but kudos to Shakhtar that they came out with all guns, and obviously the defensive positions and the defense which they they were able to contain everybody yesterday. So let's see what happens for them in the coming days, because right now I feel the Real Madrid as is are in the more or less in the round of 16. So maybe they are taking it slightly easy, but Shakhtar had to play there. They had to get a result out, and I think so a draw would be good result for them right now. But then again, at the end of the day, what we have to look at is, does that help Shakhtar in the next two fixtures? Maybe, maybe not. But it is again, the destiny is in their own hands. So we don't. I really don't know that if Shakhtar will be able to come in. If not, but at least Europa spots they might be able to seal. Shakhtar might be there and there. Moving from Shakhtar versus Real Madrid, let's come to Celtic versus Leipzig. As expected, Leipzig was from the get go. They took their opportunities and they were able to score. They won the game 2-0, an easy victory, which was expected from Leipzig. So there is no surprises over here. Leipzig came with a vengeance. They got their vengeance. They came with the position of winning this game. They did that. Timo Werner, a I'll not say a flop, but then a person who came out with lot of expectations from Chelsea, has performed. And he's performed. He knows Leipzig at the back of his hand, and he's been performing like anything. He scored in the 75th minute again, and Forsberg scored in the 84th minute. So overall, it was a good day for Leipzig in the Champions League yesterday. But for Celtic, unfortunately, the road is coming to an end for them, because they have to perform, and I think so that is what is going to be a very, very important aspect for them going forward. Celtic will be able to come back, but right now I don't see that happening, and the road is a dead end for them now. I think so that is the last thing we will see of Celtic, even though there are two games left. But I don't think that they have that space or that mentality to qualify even for the Europa League spot. So on that note, thank you very much for watching. I'll come back with another video very soon. Do like, share, subscribe, enable those notifications, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.